sometime around 10 o'clock yesterday morning at 8 Mara Circle in Stoughton, an assailant gained entry into a single-family home. He was met at the door by Dorothea Ponsis, age 74. Upon entry, this male assaulted with a knife Mrs. Ponsis in a violent attack. Her husband, Georgios Ponsis, interceded at that point and tried to fend off the assailant. He was wounded severely with multiple wounds, serious wounds. Mrs. Ponsis, as her husband tried to fend off this attacker, was able to flee through the back door of the home. She fled through the back door of the home, went to steps at her neighbor's yard, called out to her neighbor, and the neighbor called 911 with 2 different calls back to back, notifying Stoughton police that someone had been injured and they should come immediately. She has been transported to the hospital. She received medical attention yesterday. She is doing better and is not in a life-threatening situation at this point. We're pleased to hear that. Unfortunately, when police arrived at the scene, at the home, they found Mr. Ponsis was dead on the scene, and they notified the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, state police. They all entered the scene and began processing the scene. The investigation ensued. It's clear to say that if it wasn't for the intervention of Mr. Ponsis, that in all likelihood his wife would have been killed. So his intervention effectively saved her life. So we have a male under arrest here at the Stoughton Police Department. That person is identified as John M. Rooney of 6 William Morrison Drive, Randolph. He was arrested at 5:55 p.m. at his home without incident. His occupation, as far as we can ascertain, was a heating and air conditioning business owner, although we think now he's currently unemployed.
What's the relationship, if any, between the suspect and the victims?
I think as far as we know, the victims, both Mr. and Mrs. Ponsis, we don't have any information that they directly knew the assailant.
So this was a random attack you believe?
I wouldn't say that either. I just think that some of that information is still being developed. Our information at this point is that he wasn't recognized as someone they knew. But I can't be certain of that. I know the details are slim right now. More, I think, will become apparent tomorrow.
Are you able to say anything now about the connection between this and the 2 prior assaults on the female victim, and also the 2 car fires that were tied to her car, I believe?
I'm not necessarily familiar with the first, but this seems to be an incident that's discrete to itself. And tonight is a chance to share with the public that arrest has been made, for whatever comfort that might be. For the people in that neighborhood, what occurred yesterday, I'm sure, was shocking and jarring. Having an elderly couple in a quiet, residential, treed neighborhood attacked like this shocks us, and I'm sure shocks people in the neighborhood. We hope tonight this arrest adds some comfort to what they're going through in that neighborhood.